Hello everyone, welcome to another session where we are going to talk about the move tool. So let's dive into it. We are in Photoshop again and we are going to talk about the move tool. So I would like to bring in some document that I have prepared for this tutorial. Okay, so we are navigating to here. Open it. Alright, so this is a document that we are going to be using for this tutorial. Okay, so talking about the move tool, I think the tool speaks for itself. Okay, like what the tool is used for basically is just for moving things around in Photoshop. Yeah. Now, what I want to say right now is that anytime you want to move something in Photoshop, you have to make sure that you are on that layer before you move it. Okay. Now, this particular layer is the first one here. So we are on it, so we are able to move it. Okay. Without that, we can't. So let's see in action if we are on this first one. So let's see if it is possible to move this one. You see, we cannot move it because we are not on that layer, because we are rather on this layer, so it will end up we can move this, yet we can't move this. Likewise, we cannot move this either. It will end up moving the other one because we are not on that layer. So anytime we want to move another layer in Photoshop, you have to stay on that layer before we can move it. So if we want to move the last one, which is this one, we must click on it, then we can move it around. Okay. Now, this particular thing is kind of like an issue. It's an issue when you have tons of layers together. Sometimes if you're working on some huge compositions, it will be very difficult to be able to locate or pinpoint that particular layer on your layer panel and click on it before you can be able to move it. For that reason, there's an easy way out, which is you can hold down your control key and then click on any layer you want to move. Automatically Photoshop will select it for us. See, because we are here to select it for us. Let's check. See another example. You can, if you click here, you see Photoshop has automatically selected it for us. So we can move any layer at all around by holding down the control key and then clicking on the particular layer we are interested in. Photoshop will automatically then do the selection for us. Now, there are a lot of means you can do things in Photoshop. Okay, Photoshop has the developers have made it so easy for us that uh, any mean that is convenient for you, you can use it. Okay, you don't have to be started with one particular way of doing something. Now, even with this, you can see that we have to combine two features, okay, before we can achieve that effect. So we have to hold down the control key and then click on the document before you can move it. But there is a way where you don't even have to touch your keys or your keyboard. Okay, you just have to automatically select whatever you want and then go ahead and start working with it. How do we get that? Remember, in our introduction course, I did mention that anytime you want to do any of these tools that you click on in Photoshop, it has a corresponding option here. Okay, remember that. Now, this move tool has extra options here, which is this and then this stuff here. Okay, now to be able to move this automatically, you have to check the box here for this option of the move tool, which is an auto select option. The option here is called auto select, and that is what is going to help us move the items in this document automatically. Okay, now we just have to check this box here and then we can move any tool we click on automatically in Photoshop. You see, we can move anything without having to even use control on our keyboard in conjunction with anything. We just have to click the tool we want and then keep moving it around automatically. Yeah. Okay, with this, the last thing that I want to talk about before we put this section to an end is the sizing of images. How do we resize our images? For instance, let's say this particular tool here, this particular item here, like this theme here, we've seen that this is not how we want it to be. We want to resize it, I mean change it, in do some modifications to it. You want to make it bigger or even make it more smaller, like we just don't like the size over here. How we then do you achieve this? There is also another option for this, the move tool, which is called transform controls. So we can check the box here. You see, right after checking the box, let me uncheck it for you to see there is nothing around it, but after checking this box, you see that there is some lines around it. Okay, now on this line, you see, it's like this thing or this line also is in Microsoft Word. So those of you who know how to use Microsoft Word will understand this better. Okay, now Over here, you can if you want to drag, if you want to resize this, you can just drag this across. Okay, drag it out. You can drag it out or drag it in. You can even drag it inside. Drag it in, drag it in, like to attain just a desirable size that you want. Okay, you can get that done. You can do that. Yeah. So when you get to the desirable size that you want, you have to come here and then check this button here to let Photoshop go out of it. Okay. Now, the reason why you have to do that is because anytime you made a modification to any particular layer in Photoshop, you always have to hit the check mark. That tells Photoshop that okay, you are done with the modification for that particular layer, and then that you will be moving to another layer. Without that, if you don't do it that way, it might be difficult. You cannot work on another layer unless you have checked it. Now let's see that in action. Let's say we've made a modification to this again, and then it is here, and then let's try to work with something else. You see, you can't do anything to any of this. They cannot, you can just not click them. That's simply because we have to commit this. We have to hit the check mark. Now this also brings me to another thing. This is not the only thing. The way by clicking the check mark is not the only way to commit transform controls. Okay, this is not the only means to commit changes to commit any changes in Photoshop. You can also hit the enter key. So let's see that in action. Wow. You see, right after hitting the enter key, that layer is then committed. Then you can go ahead and work with other layers. You see, the transform control comes here, right? You see. Okay, good. Guys, that is it for this session. And I also want to mention that what I talked about the move tool, or what I just said, that is not all the move tool can do. It can do way more than this. But for this section, I mean I mean all that I've just said is basically what you need to know to get started with Photoshop. And with that knowledge, you can do anything. I mean, you can move a lot. You can do a lot in Photoshop. Okay, so that is enough for now. Next up, we are going to look at the rectangular marquee tool and its applications in Photoshop. So until then, see you another time, guys.